Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Let me go ahead and point out to you, many of you, the obvious and following. What we're facing right now is very one-sided. It's not two-sided, and a lot of people like to act like people love to use the whole both sides arguments. Man, that's crap. We know that's crap. Ain't no both sides. Let me tell you something else too, though, about all of this. The truth be told, as I've stated before, previously, sisters love to sit up and say things like, this celebrity and that celebrity did X and Y and Z, so what you're saying isn't true. They love to do this, and it gets worse because celebrities don't live in our world, and we don't live in theirs. They're real. I mean, celebrities do exist, of course, but they don't live realistic lives for the bulk of us. You witness again and again, commonly, that what sisters are doing is they're saying, well, we're going to point to whichever side of that coin is the most, not only the most convenient for us, but even that which is the most inconvenient for you. See, sisters will turn around and tell you what celebrities do like you're supposed to do it. If they're talking about Russell Wilson choosing Sierra after he'd already been cheated on by one Western woman, and after Sierra had already had Future's baby. Okay, they're going to do that. Now, for you and me, that's a dumb move to make. For him, he got the money. He wants to waste it. And yes, I do count that as somewhat of a waste, only because if it wasn't a waste, Sierra would not be looking to him to do it. Now, one thing I do believe is that whether this is a publicity stunt or not, I do believe that Sierra lacks respect for him, but I don't think that's necessarily what he agrees to is his fault. But what I mean is that I don't think that would necessarily change much. I mean, honestly speaking, the more morality you have and the less stereotypical you are, the less you're going to be respected. And this is ingrained in Western culture amongst Western sisters, and they don't even hide that. Sierra does not understand that Russell is committed to not being a baby daddy without a marriage. She doesn't understand that because they don't ever see that. They don't ever see it that way. She sees it as, well, he just couldn't get none, even though, he's Russell Wilson. The other thing is that she knows his first wife cheated. She knows that. And Russell did what he should have done. He divorced her, but he's still Russell. So him divorcing does not pack the same psychological punch in the eyes of sisters that it would. And maybe his ex-wife saw the psychological punch and was like, dang, he's really leaving. But because the others didn't feel that punch, they may think it just doesn't really mean much. But that's when sisters come along and start talking about what celebrities do. When Ebony K. Williams said, go to the cryo bank, sister said, see, Ebony Williams said it. When Ebony Williams said, I'll date a bus driver if he owns the bus, sister said, see, Ebony Williams said it. They went after Iyanla Vanzant before she told Ebony Williams that attitude was a problem. When Ebony Williams told sisters, listen, if you want to get married and you are before or at the college age now, start looking now or at that time, because that's when you're going to find a concentration of those men. They're going to dwindle after graduation day. That's it. Then they went after her. Cynthia G wanted to go after her. Sisters in general. And they would even say, I mean, hell, one of them even told Ebony K. Williams that, well, the way you said it made me shut down. I didn't hear everything else that you said. Okay, bitch, you just decided to feel your way through it, and you don't like feeling that men have any value because you're trained not to believe that about men by the hyenocracy, neck rolling sapphire sisterhood. And it's so ingrained that you don't even have to roll your neck to feel that way. And there you go. Now you're mad to the point that you can't be corrected. All of a sudden, what a celebrity says is to be challenged. Does anybody else see a pattern here? You could sit up and say, look, I'm not about to get violent because of something someone says. I will be violent in your defense. And a lot of sisters will say, well, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because of a joke he told. That's what men do. Okay, but what is Will Smith getting in exchange? So let me get this straight. Men should do that. And Jada, because she said she cheated with August Alsina. Now, she admitted to it. And Remy may have cheated on Papoose. I don't know of any confessions. And a tabloid rumor is that Marjorie Harvey confessed to cheating with the bodyguard. I don't know if actually she did it or if it was just some tabloid rumors either. But because you have these rumors of these celebrity women cheating hypogamously and confessions of them cheating hypogamously, sisters want to sit up and say, see, it's all, you know what? Yeah, you supposed to be that man that gets out there and works and provides and brings it home. And I'll take some of that and spend that on the side dude. That's what they want to promote. And that's when they will use and point you to celebrities and what they do. You turn around and say this, that Ebony K. Williams did at least tell women who want to go the marriage route and are going to or are now going to go or are now in college to start picking and choosing at that point. Guess what? Guess what happens? They don't point to her as see, she said it anymore. They don't point to her as a role model anymore. They don't point to her as a reference. Also, I want you all to take a notice. The same sisters that are telling us that we're going to wind up like Jeezy trying to divorce these women if we marry a non-black woman just because they ain't black, don't want to point at what Jeannie Mai is doing. Jeannie Mai does not want that divorce, and I don't blame her. She wants to save the marriage, and I don't blame her for that either. Now, what I do blame her for is the dragon that she has. I don't blame her. I commend her for admitting months and years ago that she had this dragon and she was trying to subdue it because she respected him enough. So she has to undo that which is deeply ingrained in her from decades. Jeannie Mai never really stood a chance because of all Vietnamese moms, she had the bad luck to be born to Mama Mai, who's a Western misandrist feminist pistol without even being Western. That's the messed up thing about it. Jeannie Mai started off with a disadvantage. So she was in the context of the Western culture, which is misandric, and then in the house of Mama Mai, who is a misandrist and feminist and just pretty much a neck-rolling sapphire with a different accent and a different melanin count. Driving her father away to the point that she had to get out there and work 2 jobs to keep a roof over their heads. So much so that who did she have? Then what? She had to rely on a relative to look after Jeannie, and that relative got fresh with Jeannie for years. And Jeannie didn't even know how to describe that in her language. I believe that was the case because a lot of other cultures, they may know that this type of thing exists, but it's not something they readily talk about because it's that egregious. And so a kid growing up with 2 languages really may not learn that in their own language. That may be one thing they don't know how to say in their own language. In Arabic, there is no word for the PDF type of people. I'm not talking about the document format. I'm talking about the people. There's not a one word for that in Arabic. In French, yeah. So in Morocco, they can use that. They can talk about them, but they have to use the French word, even if they're speaking their Moroccan, what is considered to be Moroccan Arabic, but they'll tell you it's not Arabic. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Jeannie didn't stand a chance, but what I want you to understand is that she is trying. She may not have succeeded. I mean, after all, Jeezy's filing for divorce. Maybe it's a publicity stunt like what AC Accountability Commentary said. Maybe it's not, but she's trying to get rid of that dragon. And she's trying to stay with Jeezy. Sisters are never going to point to that as an example. What does Ebony Williams' last bit have in common with Jeannie Mai's reaction to the divorce? It's real simple. They show value. They show that men have value. I told you before that you can see when is the sisterhood going to jump on a woman. It is going to be when they say something that is not harsh enough to men. Jeannie Mai's reaction is not harsh enough. Ebony K. Williams' last comment was not harsh enough. They are only upset because there is a value and it makes them mad. The sisterhood, I told you, the sisterhood hates the idea of you having any value because the sisterhood hates you. Stop trying to interpret it some other way. They can't stand you. The sisterhood hates you. They're not just upset with you, and they don't just love themselves, and they're not just out trying to get a hold of some easy and convenient advantages in life. That's not all that's going on. There's more to it than that. The sisterhood hates you. If it's not hatred, then it's a low boiling contempt. What is the mother cuss word difference? Am I getting through to you? Muslim brother today from the UK was telling me about how, of course, I'm not giving any names, but he told me today about how someone was discussing marriage with him years ago. And then after a second discussion of marriage, discussing the possibility of him taking her as a second wife. Yeah, I know, right? He said, okay, this is what I got to offer. What do you have to offer? And she said, I'll get back to you on that. And he thought that's very strange. Then she came back and said that she wanted to get an education. And he felt like she wanted to use him. And I straight told him she absolutely did want to use you. That's why she got cold feet the first time you all talked about marriage. She got cold feet. She wanted somebody else. She got someone else. She wanted to become, guess what? A trauma counselor, because the marriage she had after she got cold feet with this brother wound up being traumatic for her. She married someone else, and that was traumatic for her. So now she wanted to counsel other women and ex-wives through their trauma. Oh. Now this gentleman, as he was typing this to me, I really did feel bad for him because she shouldn't have to go through this. I mean, what the F? What did he do to deserve this? No, seriously, what did he do? I can't think of how, what he could have done that would have deserved this. But he had to go through it. What are we dealing with here? And why? Well, it's real simple. In her mind, this is all that man deserved. To be used. This is a Muslima. She had to think about what she had to offer when he asked. That means she was never in it for a give and take. It was never about a trade. It was about she takes while he gives. That's contempt just to even think of an arrangement like that, when in fact, you would not tolerate someone like that coming to you. If he went to her and said, okay, well, this is what I want from you, and he offered nothing in exchange, what the hell do you think she would, have said? Right off the bat, what would she have said? She would have fought him. But since he's coming in and asking, what do you have? She feels comfortable saying, I'll get back to you on that. You already know women don't tolerate that answer from it. I'll get back to you on that. You're supposed to come with something. When they come and they offer terms that they would be insulted to have you offer them, that's contempt. That's hatred. That's how you know how to understand and interpret the things that they do. By understanding that the motive is hatred. It is not just anger. It is not just disappointment. It is not sadness, and it is not grief. It is hatred. Anger, maybe, but all this other stuff. No, it's not about just being hurt. They love to pretend to be wounded birds, and they love to pretend to be that for the guys that hell, they actually will become wounded birds. Then go to the guys that didn't cut them and start bleeding all over us. That's because they hate you. That's the point I'm getting at. You already know what they do. I'm just simply explaining to you as much as I can understand why they do it. There are those who have a hatred and they're not aware of it. There are those who are angry with you, or they hate you, but they think it's just anger, but no, it's hatred. There are those who have a low boiling contempt. They can flare up into anger and then full on hatred, but they start with a low boiling contempt, and that has the seed of hatred in it. And that is why you see the pattern that you see of them pointing to celebrities at certain times. And with this, then they'll turn around and tell me, don't mention celebrities, as if I want to mention them. No, I have to, because they're going to turn around and mention them only when it's inconvenient to you. And that's it. They care more about it being inconvenient to you than they care about it being convenient to them. Keep that in mind, too. I hope that what I've said helps you and benefits you. Of course, thank you all for listening. As always, Black Heart, Black Mind, Blackout, Assalamu Alaikum. And yeah, you know the rest. Black, heterosexual, non-select, male power, because they don't like it in black. Thank you, Compassionate and Callous, for sharing this too. Black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. Before I finally sign out, I'm going to thank those who came through on the Cash App most recently. I would like to go ahead and thank Imam Sheikh Maulana Campbell, Assalamu Alaikum, A. Dean, Passport OG, D. Stewart, S. Jacques, and Mojo. Also, thank you all for flying with me again on Jet Black Airways, where Jet Black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off this mother cuss word. Gender justice forever.